Hello, hello, hello. So we have a very, very good stream coming in, and I just need to talk about Celsius, everything that's going on. There's been massive worries about what exactly is going to happen, but I've been having a look at a lot of their wallets and seeing how much debt they have. So much so that I'm in a bloody vest today. I need this. I'm scrolling like crazy. I'm trying to find out exactly what's really happening and how liquid are these guys. And I'm getting pretty hot, I'm getting bothered. I'm in my vest, so you better like it. So let's jump in and actually have a look as to what we're seeing when we're looking at some of their wallets. So first things first, let's bring into this. This is zapper.fi. Have a look at this. I highly recommend it. This brings together the Celsius wallets that we know about. So 15 addresses, expanding them. You can see them all here. Total net worth 1.5. What is that? Trillion. Hello. Very, very nice. Debt of 810 million. Now, I will say they used to have $10 billion assets under management. What's happened? Where's it gone? So looking at these combined wallets, around 1.5 trillion dollars, I should say. Is that 100,000? Yeah, billion, not trillion. Don't know where I got trillion from. Billion. So $1.5 billion. And looking at this, you can see this is kind of their wallet. You know, a lot of Cell, which is, you know, their coin, obviously. A lot of Ethereum, a lot of USDC, and we can kind of work our way down. So 125 million, 36 million, 34 million. And you can see, you know, how this is all made up here. This is kind of the, should we call this the big boy wallet? And you can see, so this is on the Polygon network. And so this is going to be a little bit more important as we go through and kind of analyze what exactly is in this wallet. So we can move further down. Now, obviously they have, you know, one wallet here, but they also have essentially assets spread across a number of different protocols, which is what we already know. And this is where the questions come into place as to how liquid are these guys. So here is Ethereum staking. So we know Ethereum staked in Ethereum 2.0. That is at 324,000 ETH, priced at just under 400 mil. Very nice. Now they have their Maker DAO. So their Maker, this is in the Maker protocol. So they have wrapped Bitcoin in Vault A, and then they also have some DAO and then some Link. Now, what I want to show you here is their Vault A, so wrapped Bitcoin Vault A. You see that just as you see here. So what? Not that one. This is what I want to show you. You can see their Vault ID. You can see the liquidation fees, minimal collateral ratios. They have to have a minimum of 145%. They're currently at 195, which is very good. Now, ultimately, what they're looking, or what I should say, wrapped Bitcoin, the price, the liquidation price, I should say, is these guys are going to get liquidated at around $16,800. Current price, $22,772. Now, they have a lot of collateral locked in here. This is where I kind of want to delve a little bit deeper, because I'm going to actually show you. Let me bring something up, because I want to explain exactly how we're getting to this number. And I will say, I've just refreshed this, but this is the price of wrapped Bitcoin, just to show you here. So once wrapped Bitcoin gets down to that $16,000, that's where they're going to be liquidated. Obviously, before then, they will have a margin call where they'll have to provide more of their Bitcoin in order to be able to kind of stay in the trade and make sure they're not. So you can bring this liquidation price down by adding more wrapped Bitcoin to the to this vault, so that obviously the liquidation price goes down and there's less chance of you getting liquidated out of your position. Now I'm going to stop that. Here we go. Boom. I'm going to treat you guys to a nice little bit of my whiteboard. Here we go. So this might not necessarily look very sophisticated, but trust me, it is. It is. So here, just want to show you roughly. So some people have been asking, how does Celsius work? I've seen a lot of this on Twitter. So number one, just want to show you, investors put money in to Celsius, and in return, they get a fixed yield, or an ROI, return on investment, back. Now, the reason why people like this, just like a bank, the bank, or in this case, Celsius, takes all of the risk. So with their risk, they have their own sell token, which they can then use to sell, as in the opposite of buying. They can sell it into the market, and that helps them raise some funds. They also, because they're taking money in, they then loan that money out at about 12%. So they can kind of afford to provide the investors with around 8 or 10% return on the investment, because they know that when people borrow from them, it comes at a 12% fee. And so then that means that Celsius are kind of up by 2% in this straight 1-for-1, as we see. They also have stake coins, obviously get a higher percentage for staking, or loaning out, doing all of these kind of working with DeFi protocols, and then also they have investments in certain coins, hoping that the price will go up, so speculating. Now, what I just mentioned in terms of wrapped Bitcoin, I kind of want to give you a bit more of a wider understanding as to how this works. So using the MakerDAO protocol, as you see here, they invest wrapped Bitcoin, they stake that, and then they're allowed to borrow DAO. So, I'm going to call it DAO. We'll go DAO. I know it's not correct, day. Let's go day. So they essentially give 1,000 wrapped Bitcoin, or $1,000 worth of wrapped Bitcoin, and they might receive $500 of day. Someone let me know down in the comments. Phonetically, how do I say this? And these numbers are not correct. It's not always, let's say, you get to receive 50% of what you give. Every protocol is different, and this number is not exactly 50%, but just for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to keep it as that. So what they then do is, so they've staked this ultimately, here you go, here's my staking, and then they have received this $500. They can then either give that to investors, and this is considered to be, that's a Ponzi scheme, ultimately, kind of putting money, or any funds that you receive, using that to pay investors so that you can bring more investors in, which then you would have to then stake as, exchange it for wrapped Bitcoin. You could then stake that again and then receive another $500 if you were to just keep doing this and this. Obviously, you're going to get to a stage where people are not investing as much and you are going to run out of money. That's not quite how this has gone. Or what you can do is take that $500 and then you can stake it again. So you could change that, and then you'd probably have, I don't know, let's say you'd have $500 of wrapped Bitcoin, because you've just taken your DAO and exchanged it for wrapped Bitcoin, and then you can put it in, and then you can get some more of this token here straight afterwards, which is that's very much a leveraged staking. Now, for example, if wrapped Bitcoin falls by 50%, which it has, you're going to end up having to provide more collateral, because you've got $500 worth of their token, but they still want to keep this little ratio here. They say, well, you always have to provide more collateral than you're allowed to take from us. Hence why we saw that minimum of 145% on the protocol. And I'll show you that in a second when we jump back to the internet. But so then if your wrapped Bitcoin now becomes worth $500, because obviously it fell by this 50% here, you don't have that same ratio. So you need to add more wrapped Bitcoin, which ultimately means you're kind of locking this away again, which means you have less liquid assets to pay. And you're paying your investors, your creditors, anybody who's essentially kind of come and put money in. You then need to make sure that you're keeping up this. Otherwise, everyone's going to take their money out and you'll be pretty screwed. So that's not ideal. So what do you do then? You either take a loan, but then what assets do you have to say, oh, okay, well, give me a loan against a certain asset? Like a mortgage, you put your house up and then they give you money based on that house. Or you find an external party, but I don't know who quite is going to be happy to invest in Celsius when things are not looking great. But anyway, or you could just, sell, you could sell like a lot. You could sell your whole operations, your whole business. You could sell everything. And BlockFi have actually said that they will do this. They've offered for a period of 7 days. This is how long the offer is open for. They said, hey, look, we will buy your whole company, all of your operations, including your client book, everything like this, but you only have 7 days to accept the offer. So I don't know. I don't think that's the best scenario for some of the investors. But I guess to save face, that might be something that they would do. Anyway, jumping back, I want to just quickly go through some of this so we can see here. This is the MakerDAO. This is what I said about the minimum collateral ratio. Here you go. And so then they have money on Aave, around 300 million. But then also what's interesting is you can see all of this money that they've deposited, you know, putting this staked Ethereum almost, well, over 450 mil. But then look how much debt they've got. So they're borrowing against this, which means that this is illiquid at the moment. You know, they have this money, yes, but it's debt. So they obviously have to pay it back, plus a little bit of interest. And it's not that much, but, you know, still a bit of interest, especially when you're looking at $206 million. I mean, if I just do that, 206 mil, let's have a look, get my calculator, 206 million times by, I think I've missed out 0.024. Oh my God, that's a lot of money, you know. They're still paying back $500,000 or 4 million. I need to, let me just do that again. 206 mil, let's do this, 206 times by 0.024, I think it was. What number do we have? 4 mil, Jesus, that's almost $5 million. So you can see, I mean, it's not chump change. These little bit of money, it's still quite a lot, especially when you know that, Celsius are in a bit of trouble here. But anyway, moving on Compound, obviously you see, again, lots of debt. Notional Finance, this is where they have an adjustable rate. This is where the rate kind of runs out within at this time. So it could go up. And you can I just want to show this, you know, there are many different platforms on which they're kind of lending money, borrowing money. But this gives us quite a good indication of, yeah, they have, you know, they have a lot of assets, but a lot of them are illiquid. And this is where a lot of the question marks really arise. So having a look at this from Dirty Bubble Media, Celsius Network has almost 18,000 wrapped Bitcoin leveraged in Maker Protocol. This position faces liquidation at 22,000. This, I believe, has been changed because they added more in, hence why the liquidation price is here. I think it was 200 mil that they put in. But again, yeah, and then 287 million day, I've done it again, making it the largest individual debt position on the protocol. So it's not really looking good. One final thing that I want to touch on here, and I recommend if you want to go through and look at their total debts or look at the total assets, you know, you can go through yourself. And this is the total composition here. But you can see debt 810 million. That's really not great. Really not great. And that's just the debt themselves. You know, they had 10 billion. What happened to that? It's absolutely insane. But looking at the history, you can see where they're moving money in and out. I will say you're going to see a bit of this. So this was a made up token. And I don't know who it was, to be fair, but I mean, it's actually quite a smart idea. This was a made-up token, basically, that was sent to the wallets of the official guys at Celsius. And what they have done is coded the tokens so that they had pre-approval to transfer tokens from the addresses of the Celsius team. So it looks like this little token that we're seeing here is an official token. And so this is why if you look on the history, you're like, oh, wait, are they selling Cell? So this is either one of two things. This is either a coordinated attack to try and make it look like these official addresses of Celsius Network are actually selling their own token, i.e. trying to make the price dump. Because if you see the captain abandoning his ship, you're going to think, get me out of here. So that's one possibility. The second possibility is that this is just someone creating this token, pre-programming it, and moving it or making it move around across Celsius addresses just to try and pump the token up, because this is kind of could be seen or could be sold as, I guess, better word, could be sold as Celsius 2.0, just in the same way that we've seen Luna 2.0, or obviously what's now Luna Classic turning into, well, what is new Luna, staying as old Luna's name, but old Luna being called Luna Classic. This could be like Celsius Classic, and this is the new one, and that could cause everyone to be like, oh, well, you know, they've rejuvenated. Let's all buy this token. So there's one or two ways. I think it kind of looks like a coordinated attack, which is really not great, but very smart hacking in the people who've actually done this. It's actually only been created for, created $1 billion, sorry, 1 billion tokens, I should say, created almost 14 hours ago. So to be honest, guys, it's not a real token. It's not credible. This went from here to the Celsius network, as you see, and then from the Celsius network went to Uniswap, and also I think they staked $65,000 on DAO stablecoin. So yeah, just wanted to kind of bring you up to date with all of this, and just to kind of finalize, Celsius here to clear up any confusion. Celsius network had nothing to do with the creation of any so-called Cell 2.0 token. Our security team is on alert, as you all should be. Please be vigilant. Yes, this is fake. These are fake. Don't get caught out if you are invested in Celsius. And I would just say, in terms of any kind of final bit of advice, always make sure that you're doing the best you can to, I guess, do as much research as possible. You know, what we're seeing with Celsius is that there's a lot of FUD. I think there are some coordinated attacks. You know, we're seeing FTX. They were one of the first guys, Alameda, I think is what it's actually called, Alameda Research. They were one of the first guys to actually pull it out, which caused some of the big question marks around Celsius and the liquidity that they have. But then also they're investing into their largest competitor. So I think, you know, this is crazy. I'm going to come back with another video with updates on Celsius. But for now, that's a full breakdown of the wallets, how much money they have. And I'm going to have a quick look at some of the comments. Yeah, you can't get out. You can't get out. You can't log in. You can't log out. There's a very interesting point, actually, that I'm going to come back to with regards to logging in or logging out, is that if you get a margin call from Celsius, can you add funds to that? Or are you just going to be liquidated because you can't add funds? You can't add funds because you can't log in. So your margin call is ineffective. It's like getting a margin call from Binance, but you can't log into Binance to add more money in. So you're going to get liquidated, which then will add more coins to the wallets of Celsius. I want to go into that in a bit more detail later, but yeah, there we go. I just don't think it's going to survive. I hope it does. I really do hope it does. Not necessarily for Celsius and the team, but for the people who have invested. Some people have invested a lot of money. They had a great marketing campaign providing a lot of, promises, and that made people invest a lot of money. But I want the investors to be able to get their money out. So that's most important. Anyway, guys, that's everything from me. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and we'll be back later on with everything to do with Bitcoin, and also looking at, are we at the bottom? You know, Bitcoin's around $22,000. We've called this price for a while, hitting that 200 moving average. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification, and also join us later on so that we can see what patterns are forming and if we've actually hit the bottom for Bitcoin, because you're going to like what we have in store. Anyway, guys, take care. See you in the next one, and make sure you follow us for all the updates on Celsius.